Hi, greetings, it's me, Dr. Paul Gerhardt, and this is video number 12 of our Entrepreneurship series. If you haven't watched the other videos, highly recommend you go back and check them out because you may find some interesting things that helps make you create a business that will be a little more successful if you didn't watch the video. If you hadn't watched the video. I encourage you to do that. This particular video, video number 12, is on establishing operations. And in this video, I'm going to give you some things that I think you should think about. I'm going to introduce you to the term called critical path chart. Also going to talk a little bit about competitive advantage, which is really important in any business. A little bit about finance considerations and talking about really how to think about the importance of production management in this video. So charting is one of the most important things you could do. There are a lot of people out there who say that if you could think it, you should write it down, and once you write it down, then you have a plan of action to help make it work a lot better. And you really need to understand that timing can help give you that competitive advantage that you really need in order to start a successful new business. You don't want to just jump into something without thinking about some of the important things that will help you be successful. So operations really is about doing the right thing in order to make sure that customers find your product or service and that they continue to help you build your business because they love what it is that you have to offer. And so some of the things that you need to consider are a critical path chart, financing considerations, production management, production chart, time management, location, legitimacy, quality, equipment, and timing, as we talk about. So when you're using a critical path chart, this helps you use your time efficiently. And you only have so much time, and we all only have so much time, but some organizations are more successful than others because entrepreneurs really have the skill of being able to manage their time effectively. So you must identify what actions need to occur. That essentially is what the critical path chart is all about. And then you need to be able to order them in the most effective way and identify what the first operational steps are. So here is a sample of a critical path table. You got to think about people who are involved. You need to think about how much time it takes to do each of the tasks, and then how it fits into the bigger picture of things. So some tasks that you may consider in order are establishing a business bank account, obtaining a bank loan, establishing an accounting system, leasing a facility, obtaining equipment like office and manufacturing equipment, acquire raw materials, make initial sales, and produce initial inventory. So essentially, that's a critical path chart. It really demonstrates how the activities necessary to start the firm fit together and build on each other. And so some things will happen concurrently. And so you need to be able to recognize what that looks like. For instance, in week 1, it won't take a whole week, obviously, to establish a bank account. But within the first couple of weeks, you can establish a bank account and obtain a bank loan and secure your lease and set up your accounting system. So within the first 3 weeks, those things would make sense to do concurrently. From out there, weeks 4 up to week 5, or well into the next couple of months, you could consider buying raw materials and buying the equipment and creating the initial products. And at that same time, sales could occur, and or the selling process could occur in that time. So you don't have to do one thing at a time, but you do need to make sure that what happens within that block of time takes place. So it's really important to get the insights of other people. Talk to potential suppliers and friends and other industry experts. These people can help you make sure that you've thought of everything and things are in the right order. More minds truly are better than one. Sometimes delays can happen if you don't have things in the right order. Location is a competitive thing. Location is almost anything, and this is probably why some of the more prime spots probably cost a little bit more in most cases. But putting your business in the right place could make all the difference between make or break, or success or failure. So being able to be very clear on what the ideal location should look like is really important. Some considerations, like a shopping center, a shopping strip. A small retailer might fit nicely there. People could go and to like Ross, where they can get like some clothing or shoes or something, but at the same time maybe they can buy office supplies from a small company. Or maybe you make plaques, for instance, and so having a little plaque store next to a Target or an office supply store may be useful to you if it's in a shopping center. Anchor stores help put you in an ideal location where people can get many things done at the same time. I've got to go to Target anyway. I might as well go and get a plaque engraved. So location analysis is a very important thing. Foot traffic can make all the difference on whether or not your company makes it or not. Some important issues in the financing of new companies. You really have to think about security deposit, utility setup fees, being able to purchase or lease the initial equipment and installation, any licensing and inspections that need to take place, all initial supplies, hiring and training staff, initial advertising expenses, and bank setup fees. These are all considerations. Establishing a bank relationship is absolutely critical. You may need a revolving line of credit. Having a credit card is important. Basic checking account is important. Business accounts really should require 2 signatures, and picking which bank to work with is more important than choosing the closest bank. Legitimacy, this is the acceptance of key stakeholders such as customers and suppliers that you are a genuine business will still be operating next year. So people really must see you as a legitimate business. Here's how you can establish legitimacy: having a banking account, checking account with your company name on it, having a business credit card, a line of credit, professional business cards, letterhead, advertising materials, business address, job titles, a telephone answering support system, high quality web page, board of advisors or directors, and then endorsements all help. Some of the things that are important of production management in new startup ventures are having a production management system which helps you move your product or service to the point of sale. All businesses have a production management system, whether or not they are codified. You have a production management system for the most common and expected routines, and the 2 most important elements in production management is production charting and quality. Let's talk a little bit about those. So a production chart is a chart that provides a detailed understanding of a firm's production process. So you have to have the right details in each step in the production process. It starts with the order being received and then finishes with the final delivery to the customer. And so some steps can occur simultaneously while others must happen concurrently. So an example if you are an engraving shop like I talked about. So you could start out by selecting the wood, and setting up the type information into the engraving machine, and then engraving the plaque, which might take 15 minutes. And so you're looking at how much time each of these things take. Maybe it takes 5 minutes to select the wood, and then 10 minutes to put the type into the engraving machine, and then engrave the plaque itself might take 15 minutes. You should be looking for quality, and then polishing the plaque, and then making sure that the plaque is packaged. So that's your basic production chart. It really is important to have quality as a competitive tool. Quality is an assumed standard. You must make sure that you, as the entrepreneur, are monitoring the quality. Nothing can go out that may make your company not look as successful as it could be. W.E. Demi, the father of quality management, suggests that you must be constantly and consistently improving quality. You have to set goals for quality, and you can't dwell on them, but you have to use the scientific method when making changes and focus on the quality of inputs, which affects outputs. So everything has got to be quality if you want to have a great reputation. You might want to build a strategic alliance with other companies that can provide mutual benefit in this relationship. You have to also consider the type and condition of equipment needed for startup. Sometimes using old technology may not be ultimately better in the longer run. You have to consider the expenses, which could delay the startup of your business. You have to consider the risks, do some research, and then when leasing things, you have to consider low initial costs versus high long-term costs. And you have to really have a clear understanding of what equipment is needed both now and in the future. And so when you prepare a chart, these are the things that you need to do in order to figure out the positives and negatives. Timing really gives you a competitive advantage. You have to be able to select a time to enter the market, and which can help you provide that competitive advantage. Timing is a function of several factors: the general environment, competitor moves, cycles of purchasing supplies, and then lifestyle issues are a big one too. Issues related to time management and starting a business could be minimized when you write down things that have to be accomplished, and be able to look at your list and prioritize it, and then segment those into short-term and long-term, and then allocate the right time in order to make sure that you are producing the product, and then write down the tasks and mark them off when you've accomplished them. So essentially that's what we do with time management. It's about really identifying what needs to be done, prioritizing the order, and thinking about big picture and little picture things, and then taking the right actions. All right, so these are things that you as an entrepreneur or future entrepreneur need to consider in establishing your operations. I hope there's been something in this video that you found useful, hopefully, and if you might want to go back and check out the other videos. So thank you so much for your valuable time. I hope that you have a great day, because only you get to choose how you feel about it. I'm Dr. Paul Gerhardt.